I'm shaking.
No, you don't be.
Is that visible?
No, don't be nervous.
I'm shaking.
Okay, Mark.
My first impression of him was that he was difficult.
I'll do my best. I might have to pause and then go into it.
And that is fine, we can do that.
Okay.
You know, he was very driven, incredibly focused.
He was a brat. Just like a naughty child, I think.
He was a star. And when stars enter a room, they suck out the oxygen.
He was a very good improviser. He was very funny sometimes.
Coco had it all.
What do you feel like his legacy was?
Coco's legacy. Depends on who you're talking to.
He was a very special dog. He was one in a million.
Fire. The wheel. The silicone chip. All very impressive. But the single greatest thing to happen to the human race was the evolution of the domestic dog. Canis lupus familiaris, a direct descendant of the grey wolf. Before they became man's best friend, roughly 36,000 years ago, wolves figured out that if they didn't threaten humans, then humans would do all the hard work for them. In return for food and protection, the wolves would help humans find their way. And so, over time, an unlikely kinship formed, and the wolf evolved into the tame domestic dog. Humans and dogs would share a special bond side by side for millennia to come. Mankind and cat, however, well, that's an entirely different history lesson. Over the centuries, these loyal hounds became our most trusted companions and our protectors. They find us when we're lost, lead us when we're blind, and comfort us in our times of greatest need. In return, we shelter them, feed them, and dress them up in ridiculous costumes. Today, there are more variants of dog than any other living mammal, with best estimates placing the total number of dogs on Earth at approximately 560 million. But every now and then, a truly extraordinary, selfless, heroic 1 in 560 million dog comes along. A dog capable of inspirational feats that lift the human spirit. A dog we build shrines to. A dog with its own unique tale. From Japan, Hachiko, the loyal Akita, who spent 9 long years waiting at a train station for the return of his master, who had tragically passed. From the United States, Bobby the Wonder Dog, the Scotch collie who journeyed thousands of miles in order to find his way home. And from Australia, Red Dog, the red-cloud Kelpie who wandered the outback and beyond in search of his missing master. But there was once a dog who walked a very different path. A dog with a very different story, whose face was seen around the world, and whose name was heard far and wide, and who, frankly, did very little to deserve it. His name was Coco. You see, Coco was a very different type of dog. He was a star, a very famous star, and he loved it.
Coco was some of the best talent I have ever interviewed in my 30 years.
He was a dog that took to people. He just loved to be around people.
It's amazing. As much recognition as anyone you normally see on the front page of a newspaper.
What actor would I compare him to?
He was the best paid dog in Australia.
I gave him little meaty bits.
Coco's a massive.
He had great charisma, great soul, great depth inside of him.
I mean, Coco meant everything.
It takes a special dog to connect with so many people.
Coco was the first to do everything out of the litter. He was the first one to open his eyes and get up on his little legs. He was pretty bossy over the rest of the litter. He would just walk over top of them. Didn't matter.
I've got a present for you. Look at that.
It was earned. He always knew that he was clever.
You look gorgeous, Coco. Or should I say, smart and bossy.
What made him special is he wanted to be with you. He wanted to listen to you. He wanted to absorb what was happening around him. It was just the way he was. 30 years I've had Kelpies. A Kelpie is a dog that's developed in Australia for Australian conditions. They can do anything.
Meet one of the most important workers in Australia's great woolen industry, the Kelpie, who works big mobs of sheep over wide open areas.
Kelpies are sheepdogs, basically. They're quite intensely selected for their brains and their working ability and ease of training. To me, they're the intelligentsia of the dog world.
A typical Kelpie he wanted to please. You look at a Kelpie and say jump. The first thing a Kelpie would say is how high.
Farmers who've bred them are pretty non-forgiving. So they're always selecting the brightest, hardest working, involved dog that they can find. They've got to have the ability to read the mind of the owner, and I think that's developed to a large degree in Kelpies.
Well done, Johnny boy.
I've heard different stories about the origin of the Kelpie. I've certainly heard there's a fair bit of dingo in it.
The dingo isn't actually a dog. It's a unique species called Canis dingo. A contentious detail among specialists is said that 3 to 4% of Kelpie genes come from this wild Australian mammal. Allegedly. This mix created a new breed, smart, intuitive animals which were perfected for life in the outback.
The curiosity that was in that dog was wonderful, and his ability and his will to learn was exceptional.
He's pretty good, you know.
He was like a sponge.
He does all his own stunts too.
And loved jewellery. He used to chew jewellery all the time. If I had a watch band on, he'd chew the watch band. If you had a button on a shirt, he'd find it.
I see great things for you, little one. You're going to be a star.
Coco had a lot of personality. It was natural to him. It was just the way he was. I always took my puppies down to the bakery, best bakery there is in Victoria, and they would socialise with everyone in the street.
Hi, Louise.
Hey, Carol.
Just got to look at everything, don't you?
I used to have to take them down there so that they got used to different noises, so that the temperament was nice and even.
Stay. Good boy, Coco.
Well socialised dogs are a pleasure.
Oh, there you are. Ladies. Oh, these scones smell even better than usual. Oh, you've got the...
I succumbed. They're so good.
He just adored people. Very affectionate. Didn't matter who it was, he loved everybody.
Carol is adorable. Are you ready for the show this year, Coco?
Don't worry, little one. You're a shoo-in. He'll be the winner for sure.
You think he's going to beat out old Gwendolyn this year?
Yes, he is.
Gwendolyn Myers was the reigning champion of the local dog show circuit with 200 wins under her belt. Her prize show dog was Beatrice. She was the only thing standing between Coco and victory.
Well, she's going to be a tough one to beat this year. Do you think you stand a chance?
What do you think, Coco?
Coco just wanted to please Carol. So if that meant entering this show and becoming a winner, well, that's what it'd have to do. And with that, Coco entered into the cutthroat world of professional show dogging. Dog shows have been around for the better part of a century.
Every blue-blooded canine, from the conventional to the exotic, competing for dogdom's top spot, and that includes the Chinese crested hairless.
The dog show really is an ultimate elimination contest. Dogs get knocked out at various stages of competition, and at the end of the day, we've ended up with your best 7 dogs.
I don't think people have realised that it's a fabulous hobby. It's a really great hobby to show dogs.
Every dog show contestant is vying for the top prize, the coveted Best in Show.
It's the supreme thing. It's why we all show dogs, to win Best in Show.
The typical dog show is made up of 3 parts: athletics, modelling, and musical canine freestyle. Yep, dancing with your dog. It's a thing. Anyway.
The dog's brain at a dog show, if you're lucky, it loves it. And that's where it becomes a pleasure to show a dog, because the dog thoroughly enjoys going to a dog show and exhibiting. If they don't like it, you can tell straight away.
The truth was, Coco really enjoyed show dogging.
Next up, classy Kelp, smart and bossy.
And at first, he was really good at it.
He was the ant's pants. You know, he always thought that he was the top dog.
The rules of what make a good show dog are a little complicated. The guidelines are a lot complicated.
We want moderate size ears, a width of skull. The skull and the foreface approximately equal. We want a length of neck that is neither too short nor too long. Good forequarters, strong forequarters, 2/3 rib cage, 1/3 loin, straight hindquarters. And we want a lovely shape over the croup down to the tail set, so that the tail is carried down and out gently. It's important that the tail stays down. Coco had it all. He was a lovely, lovely dog. I think he knew he was special all the way through. I really do.
You know who doesn't think you're special, Coco? Beatrice, the current grand champion. And her owner, Gwendolyn Myers.
A show dog to become an Australian champion, what they need to do is they get 100 points. And those points are earned by being either the best bitch or the best dog of your breed.
In the context of show dogging, bitch is a technical term meaning female dog, and not a naughty word.
When Coco had his big win, he won Best Exhibiting Group in the Working Dog Group at Condon. I couldn't believe I was over the moon. You get 1 point for every dog you beat. If you are lucky enough to get a Best Exhibiting Group, then that's 25 points. And they go towards your 100 points for an Australian champion.
And our new champion is Classy Kelp, Smart and Bossy!
Coco got his championship when he was 11 months old. He was a young dog. That was mind-blowing. That was really good. It's just that Coco decided that he was going to be the stud of all time. Hello,
Hello?
I had a phone call from a lady who wanted to use a Kelpie at stud. And that's where we all come undone. I said I had a couple of males, but I had a young male that she could use. So she used him at stud. And he had 8 beautiful babies. They were gorgeous puppies.
One became an international athlete. One became the face of a successful dog food brand. One went on to a prestigious career in search and rescue. And this one is no longer allowed to sleep on the couch.
Over a period of the next month or two, Coco became, what would you say, arrogant. When we took him to the show ring, he thought every chick in the paddock was his. He became full of himself. And up went the head, and up went the tail, and he strutted. He just became a 16-year-old kid that can't think clearly. He started to show poorly because of his mental attitude at that time.
For the tail to be up, he has what we call a flat croup, which is the back end of the dog where the tail is. The croup is not correct.
But it's something that would ruin the balance in the dog.
The way Coco held his tail, I believe, was his attitude. He should never have carried it that high. It's unreal that he had the ability to carry it that high. But he did. If they don't match up what we want in the show ring, that's not the dog's fault. We didn't pick very well when we actually chose that dog. So we decided that we would pull him from the show ring for a while and let his brain mature a little bit. We've had a few pets over the years. Our dogs are a part of us. If we keep a dog, then it never leaves our place. They're all family, four-legged members of the family.
Coco! There you go!
They stayed for life. And Coco would have stayed if history hadn't have changed everything.
Red Dog, born Parabadoo. He died in Roban, 22nd of November 1979, and he roamed the Pilbara and beyond. And yeah, it's erected on behalf of his many friends by a mate who took him for his last ride. So yeah, just my little tribute to the old fella. I was involved with him all the time I was here until he died. Red Dog was a mate of mine, and I was one of many mates of his.
And by all accounts, he was, quite a unique animal. He was adopted by the miners as a mascot.
They said he's had his own bank account. He was part of a union as well.
A wanderer and a drifter, the legendary larrikin, Red Dog, formed an expansive family throughout the Pilbara, made up of miners, local residents, and diverse community members whose lives he intersected with on his search for his lost master.
Yeah, there were a lot of single guys there in those days. They were lonely, and the thought that they have a dog that came and went probably appealed to them.
Yeah, we knew him like most people up here that have been up here as long as we've been up here.
Stay the night, and then next day you wake up and be gone. And then you wouldn't see him for another 6 months.
He was a good dog, but he stunk because he never had a bath.
Some people didn't like him. He was pretty free-ridden at times.
The collar that I still have that he wore had on it Red Dog and in brackets blue. I think it's the old Australian expression, anyone who's got red hair is called blue.
Because he had a really close attachment to this area, and I believe he's still out there wandering around.
This dog is a centre point for a town and a centre point for a lot of tourists. Then, of course, the story gives everybody a reason to come to Dampier.
Red Dog's story was told and retold over and over again, and eventually became an international best-selling book by this guy.
It was a fairly remarkable a dog that was so independent and temperamentally rather more like a cat, and yet treated everybody as an equal, acted as though it had certain inalienable rights, like the right to stop the car and get it. I don't know, I've never heard of any other dog like this.
Like a lot of bestsellers, someone wanted to turn it into a movie.
Red Dog is a story about stories.
This guy.
It's really actually not a story about Red Dog. It's really a story about the people that Red Dog encounters in his journeys and in his life. And I thought that was the genius of Louis de Bernier's book and of Dan Taplitz's screenplay. I read it and went, ooh, this is it. Red Dog had to be a very specific kind of Kelpie that was around in that time, and Kelpies are actually trained in show situations to have their tail down. It was very important. The iconic image, the iconic silhouette of Red Dog is the dog running with its tail up. We have to find a dog whose tail goes up. That is a given. So the casting of the dog was absolutely critical, which is why we spent so much time trying to find the right dog. Probably took about 18 months.
Who uses paper maps anymore? How old is this?
We drove up to Denali, which is 2 hours from the airport. Well, depends on how you drive.
Yes.
Carol Hobday?
Oh! You must be the film director.
Right.
Is it Creve?
Criv. No one ever gets it right. Oh, well, let's make it official. We're here for Red Dog and...
Do you have any Kelpies? And she said, yeah, I've got a whole backyard full of them.
Well, great. Can I see them?
Oh, I'm sorry, dear, I'm sorry. Would you like a cup of tea? I'll pop the kettle on.
Love one, Carol.
Terrific. Do you like scones? I've been baking.
Scones. Scones and puppies. You're an angel, Carol.
Come on in.
Rightio.
She had, you know, the kennels back there, and we went out in the kennels and dogs barking everywhere. And she pointed out Coco.
And when he runs, how's his tail go? Up.
That's one of the reasons why we don't show him.
Right. And I remember she took him out into the backyard. He just was the dog. It was incredible. He had the iconic Red Dog shape. The tail was up. And I looked into his face and his eyes just connected with mine, and he had that incredible spark. You look for that magic behind the eyes, that alchemy that, you know, the lens and the actor has. And some dogs have it, some dogs don't.
His face used to light up and his face would come up with all these expressions. And you think, a dog can't look like that, but he did.
99% of directing is casting. If you haven't cast the film right, there's no amount of direction you can do to save yourself. Okay, Coco, I'd just like to try a couple of expressions, you know, just want to sort of just see where we can take them. Now, Coco, try that little snarl. Ooh, the snarl's great. Fantastic. Let's try a really concentrated look where you're really concentrating. Good. Now, why don't you try the confused look? Great. Try it the other way. Actually, do it like you did the first time. You are a Red Dog. You know, it's great. You know. Geez. There's one final thing I just want to talk to you about. I know you're aware of it, but look, we're going to have to dye you red. But you know, the film is called Red Dog, and you've got to be red. There are ugly dogs and there are handsome dogs. Coco was a handsome Kelpie.
Which brings me in a roundabout way to say, look, I think that we have found our Red Dog.
What do you think about that, Coco? Len! Len, they want to have him in the movie!
Who?
Coco!
Oh, hold on, I'll just go get him.
Anyway, you must be a dog lover.
Yes.
Yeah, look, basically I had to lie to get the gig. You know, I'm actually allergic to dogs.
How many have you got?
3.
What breed?
They are...
So I'm in the kitchen, you know, she's just made a cup of tea, and I turn around to her and I say, look, can we buy Coco? And she looked at me and said,
Oh, no.
I don't sell my adult dogs at all. They stay home and they're our pets.
and I realised, oh, okay, this could go either way. But
I could lend him to you.
Carol, I could kiss you. I won't. I won't.
Yeah, no, I couldn't find it.
Just thank you, Carol. I promise you that this is the best decision that you or Coco will make in your entire life.
And Coco got into the van because he was used to just jumping into a van. That was his life. That's what he did. And I just looked and I thought, oh, that's my baby. He was my baby. He was the youngest dog that I had.
That's my baby.
Thank you, everyone. That's been...
You better do a bloody good job.
Yep.
That was what we thought. I cried all the way home.
Am I ever gonna see your face again? Am I ever gonna see your face again? Won't you hear me?
You are going to be a big star, Coco. Yes, your name up in lights, you know, up with Lassie, Benji, Rin Tin Tin, Milo, Otis. One of them. One was a cat. Or come here. Oh, he's our lead dog. Yeah, he's the top dog. You'll be slightly under. Come here.
What? You didn't think you'd get the lead role that easily, did you? No, no, no. You see, it takes more than one dog to make a movie. There were 4 Benjis and 11 Lassies. Filming Red Dog, well, that would be no different.
Yeah, I'd actually worked with a dog called Camille. Beautiful dog. But there were a couple of issues with Camille.
Stay. Good boy, come here. No, not come here. Go back. Back! Ah, why'd you name a dog Camille?
That was slightly awkward sometimes.
Great performer. Strange name. I mean, your tail, fantastic. His face is where the money is, though. I'm talking to a dog.
Red Dog had 3 dogs. Coco, Camille, the film's leading dog, and Old Red. He didn't do much. He just needed to look old. But he did prove that you can teach an old dog new tricks.
They can do anything. Their ability is probably restricted only by the ability of the person to train them.
Coco, stay. No, Coco, stay. Coco, back. No, Coco. Cut. Go back. Go.
It was a pretty intense regime. We basically broke the film down into these lists, checklists, there's schedules as to when the dog has to be able to do this by, and so on and so forth. So it was a pretty intense period for Coco. There was a lot of jumping through hoops, a lot of playing dead, coming forward, you know, just getting him really salty, getting him really up to speed. And then the tricks would become more complex.
Push, good boy.
And that took a good sort of 4 months to get him up and running and ready for the camera.
Coco was finally ready to hit the big screen. And Creve had become very close to the stars that would help him tell his story to the world.
Yeah, well, they say never work with animals and children. And you know what? They're right. It's a nightmare. Achoo!
Do you want an antihistamine?
It should be great. Few weeks of my life.
Coco had never seen a film set before, but it certainly didn't seem that much different to a dog show.
I'm travelling to set now. Of course with the dogs, seeing as that's all I do now is walk dogs.
Some people gave him scratches, others gave him treats,
dogs, Criv had actually delivered.
Yeah, no, you can tell him we've found them. Hey, get out. No, no, not you.
And we were really cutting it.
Cut. Brilliant.
The dye test.
We've been shooting all that week, just shooting actors, shooting non-animal stuff, getting a lot of that out of the way. And I remember turning up on set. You know, I called it Black Friday. It was a Tuesday, but it was Black Friday. And I just sensed something wasn't right.
Gary.
And people wouldn't look at me in the eye.
We're making a film called Red Dog, and the dog's got to be red. And our dogs are brown. The real Red Dog was red because he lived in the Pilbara and was covered in red dust, but Kelpies, especially show Kelpies, are bred to be chocolate brown. And we thought it'd be relatively easy to dye the dogs red, but somehow that was not the case.
And I looked at my first and I'm going, how'd the dye tests go?
Let's walk and talk. Now, I don't want you to overreact.
I just had this really sick feeling.
Is that Khmer?
Do you think that's going to come out?
Nope. And I looked at everyone and no one would look me in the eye. It was probably one of the worst moments I've ever had. We had to make a film that was called Red Dog. And the dog was nothing at all red.
So, bad news is this does kind of bugger with our schedule. Good news, we've still got Coco.
So what you see right here, this is the new red colour. What we need to do now is put another coat on and that colour will come through like a Pilbara red.
Well, at least you're the right colour now.
Very red.
Yeah, Pilbara red.
Yeah. Yeah. Camille looks great.
Eh? No, that's Coco. Yes, yeah, he's our man. He's our dog, I mean. He's the top dog.
I bought, you know, crates full of antihistamines and just stocked myself up.
Are you allergic to something?
No. Yes. Yeah. It's my shampoo. It's got eucalyptus and then patchouli in it. Anyway, the kids give it to me. I should just throw it out, but I don't want to break their hearts.
Wasn't there 2 dogs?
No. Only one. Only ever one dog.
Damn! Whoa! What is that?
Yeah, that's the stray. Yeah, that's a stray. Anyway, woof, out you go. You got to bark. Shows him his boss. There you go.
I was suffering terribly from the hay fever.
Are you sure you're all right?
Yeah. Are you all right?
What?
I found another terrific actor.
No, Jesus. Shh. Hi, Jane. How are you?
He's dropping out of the movie.
What? He did what? What? Yeah. Okay. Well, we just bought him the motorbike he wanted. We're out for the available.
I was just trying to keep it together.
He takes a bit of getting used to. Ready to shine? You can act, right? Talking to a dog. Come on.
We were all stressed out. I was fighting with the DOP.
No, Coco, get back.
Coco wasn't working.
No, Coco. Cut. Please. Coco!
I was fighting with Nelson. I think Coco was picking up on the tension because we hadn't found an actor yet. The stress was affecting him. He was distracted. He would walk away. Literally, we would be in the take and he'd walk away.
No, Coco, come back here!
There are many shots he just wouldn't do. Wouldn't have barreled.
As we were going along, I could see Creve getting more and more uncomfortable. Creve was very, very stressed. You could feel that the crew knew that something wasn't right.
It was really, really tough. It was a really tough couple of weeks. I was stressed.
It's not easy making a film.
Yeah, he's not paying attention. Can someone just grab Coco?
We were setting up for a close-up when he had to eat the dog food from the bowl.
I took him aside. I said, look, Creve, this is our last chance to pull the film together. If this didn't work, it was game over for us.
Okay. Look, no, don't worry, that's for me. Yeah, for me. Because of you.
I'm guzzling down 20 antihistamines a day, and it's not good for you.
No, this is... Look, Coco, sit, please.
Apparently, I was talking to Coco as if he was a human.
Now, in this scene, I'm gonna put some food in here, okay? I want you to eat it, and then look up at the camera. Can you do that? Can you not lick? No, that's not gonna...
You know, I was really at this point, you know, kind of at breaking point.
If you can't get this shot, we're in a lot of trouble. See that guy?
You're being ridiculous. I have a signed contract. He's going to be here in 48 hours.
If you can't get this scene, then he will be very angry with you and very angry with me because of you.
Listen to me. You watch him get on the plane, you watch the door close.
This is our one chance, mate. You are literally the only dog we've got left. I'm going to take that as a yes? Good, okay. Good. Stay. Food. Okay. Go. All right, ready. We're ready? We are ready. Are you ready? Okay, sound, speed.
And we rolled, called action.
Go!
Coco ate, looked up at camera, and was like,
5.5 seconds!
We all cheered. It was just like, we're doing this. This is going to happen. This is real.
Good boy.
And it was just a magical moment. If we just concentrate on the task at hand, we'll get there. And that was the way I decided to move forward. I apologized to everyone and went, look, this is how we're going to make the movie. We've just got to enjoy it, relax, and be there in the moment with Coco. A very strange few days working without knowing who the actor was going to be.
We were pointing the camera in one direction, and when we turned it towards where our star should be, there was no actor.
And then he came out at lunch and slips a bit of paper across the table. And it's Josh Lucas. And I go, great, he'll do.
It was one of those miraculous last-second telephone calls from an agent who says, I found this script and I know you love dogs and you should read it and tell me what you think tonight because maybe tomorrow you'll go to Australia. I actually really like working with animals and children. I'm a dog lover. I have a great dog, great relationship with the dog that I rescued. And that was part of it, is my dog, you know, has deeply impacted my soul as a person, and he's one of my closest friends. Coco's a brilliant actor. He's got magic, that dog, you know, like all great actors, you know, there's something just magical inside of them.
When Josh arrived and we had our John and we saw the immediate connection, that Josh had with Coco and how well they worked together and how Coco was just becoming Red Dog in front of us.
Squeeze it like you do.
I knew then we were on our way.
Also, he thought,
someone came up to me and said, there's a problem. The dog who had been performing perfectly for the past 2 weeks was suddenly just not performing.
We were shooting an exterior at the caravan. It's Coco just standing there waiting for John to return, looking out, and we're rolling. And suddenly, Coco just walks away. And I follow him where he's walking. And it's Carol.
Nelson asked me if I'd like to go onto the set and have a look.
She was visiting. We were thrilled to have her there.
And it was like, oh, right. What do we do now?
Seriously, what do we do now? Cutting there. 5 minutes, everyone.
Carol!
She was excited to see him and he was excited to see her. But Carol's presence was clearly having an effect on Coco. I just think he put down tools.
Let's just go this way and let these people do the film.
It was an awkward moment where I had to tell her not to turn up to set.
So it's great to see you, Carol.
Oh, you too, Kerry.
Hey, now, just while we get this shot finished up.
And I could see that Creve wasn't very impressed with the dog running away from the set. And Creve said, would you like to stand over there a little bit further? So I did.
Here?
A bit further.
Is this okay?
A little bit further.
How's this?
A little bit further.
And Creve said, would you like to go and have coffee?
Oh, hi, Nelson.
Hey. You gonna go and finish the scene?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And Coco was right back into it.
John, go with Creve. Good boy.
A Kelpie loves people, but they adore their person.
Back to it, everyone.
Not the person that owned the dog. It's the dog that owns the person.
and the person Coco increasingly wanted to own didn't act with him, didn't direct him, didn't even feed him. Who's this guy?
All right, I'll take you for a walk. Come on.
We had some really challenging things that we had to shoot, and this dog just pulled it off. It was unbelievable. You know, there were certain things that even the trainer said, I'm not sure he's going to get this, and then he nailed it.
It's keeping us on our toes as actors, because when we come on set and we're about to do a scene, you know, depending on what Coco does, it kind of determines the scene, not the way you thought it was going to go.
Nelson and that dog went everywhere together. I mean, everywhere.
The growing bond between Coco and Nelson was becoming impossible to ignore.
As people started to see the magic on screen, we realised that we had something pretty terrific. I was focused on making the film. I didn't expect to form a relationship with the dog.
Red Dog. Little Coco, who plays Red Dog, is like a little love bug. You know, he loves a love and he loves a pat. He's really very gentle, very sweet little boy.
The best part of working with animals is there's this alchemy that happens with the camera and with you and with the scene, and it's just a beautiful thing.
I'd say he's pretty much like Brian Brown. He's sort of quintessentially Australian and won't move too far out of their comfort zone.
Well, you know, I am a cat person.
My favorite day on set was actually the last day of shooting, where we took this just one camera, and there was just me, a camera guy, and Coco. We got in a car and we just drove around and played, and they just filmed us playing. It was, I think, the day that Coco was the happiest.
Coco meant everything. I mean, without Coco, it's like not having Brando in Apocalypse Now, or not having E.T. in E.T. It was that critical. You know, Coco was the movie. And without Coco, the movie wouldn't be what it is.
That, folks, is a picture wrap on Red Dog. Good work, everyone. Thank you. Go rub that dog and pat his head.
There was always an agreement with Carol that whilst I owned him for the duration of the filming, that if he wanted to go back to Carol, he could go back.
Come on, Coco. He's still all red.
Oh, look, it'll grow out.
Oh, you've had quite a trip, haven't you, Coco? Come inside and have a cup of tea.
Oh, I can't. I've got to drive all the way back and get on the next plane.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. Oh.
Yeah. But let's talk next week.
That'd be great.
Yeah. All right. You look after yourself, eh?
Thank you.
All right.
Thanks,
We'll
Nelson.
talk very soon.
Okay, bye now. Come on, Coco. Come on, Coco.
I would have loved to have brought him back home and had him at home. But when I saw him with Nelson, I knew that he was already there. He'd already found what Coco needed.
Go on, then.
That's when I said, you know, that Len and I'd been talking, and
we've decided to gift him to you. As a pet.
You're kidding.
And you're paying for that window. No, I'm serious. You're paying for the window.
Okay.
Doing the work that I do every day is kind of different. He'd often wake me up when he slept at the end of the bed.
G'day, mate.
I would give him a feed. And then we might go for a walk, go down the beach.
Boy. Oh, what a good boy.
And then the day would begin. We'd just sort of share the day together. He was my shadow. I remember sort of some weeks after we'd wrapped, for the first time I took him for a walk. It was before anyone had seen the film. The film hadn't come out, so no one knew the film and no one knew Coco. And I took him down the pedestrian wall in the Perth CBD. All of a sudden he just changed, he was on. But we weren't actually doing any commands or we weren't doing any routines. And what I realised was he thought all the people walking in front of him were extras. He thought it was a big scene. As I said, I took him everywhere that I went.
Yep, spaghetti. Yeah, we're gonna have spaghetti and then we're gonna have carrot. Where is the bloody Thanks, mate. Good boy.
Hey. It was originally set to come out in Easter, And then I'm pretty sure it was the first Thor, and the distributor got very, very nervous. You can't put the dog up against Thor.
Wow.
The distributor had delayed the release.
That's like 5 months away. Well, we don't know what to do. Is Josh still going to be available?
He wasn't.
I wanted to come back to do this press tour, and there was some, you know, limitations in terms of my schedule, which was really what stopped it. I was actually really looking forward to it.
You can't promote a film without a star. No, well, find out who else is available.
Daddy, I'm hungry. Daddy.
Yeah, it's coming. Spaghetti. Well, who then? Who? No, that's not. Mate, you. I think I'm having an idea. Road trip.
So we decided to take the dog on the road. I didn't have high expectations. It was an unusual film. The star was a dog. We did Queensland first, and we would go to regional radio stations and do interviews.
I have got Coco, the undeniable star of the brand new movie Red Dog.
You reckon it's a good movie, mate? And Coco was just killing it. And then that night, we would do the screening.
Thank you for coming and welcome to the world premiere of Red Dog. Have a great night. We love you.
Then we'd bring the dog out, and it would just take it over the top.
I'm sad not to be there right now with the crew and sort of celebrating the opening of this movie.
So the dog's going on tour?
Coco is doing a tour, yeah. I must say, I think that's probably a wiser call from a production standpoint, because people are just going to love that dog.
You've got to love him, don't you? It's just gorgeous.
It just kind of had broad grin.
He just had personality.
I love the dog.
It was everywhere. There was posters in the main street. Everyone was so proud of the fact that Coco was from Denali.
Thousands of Eagles fans are snapping up tickets and heading east for Saturday's finals showdown with Collingwood. And the team is hoping some movie star good luck will rub off.
West Coast Eagles winning the premiership.
They didn't.
Now to WA's newest celebrity, Coco the Kelpie.
Len, he's on the telly! Quick, Len, you'll miss him!
Every time it was on TV, someone would ring me and say, Carol, have you seen so-and-so? It's on TV. I'd say, hold on a minute. To change my channel.
The new redhead is in town. Coco is the star of the new Aussie film Red Dog. He's gorgeous, just absolutely gorgeous.
Audiences just love Coco.
Oh, I just walked out of the cinema and I just wanted to go home and hug my dog.
Everyone went with the Coco phenomenon.
We got to travel the entire country, and I enjoyed that, and I think he did too.
Tonight, Sydney's world-famous Opera House is the stage for Australia's most prestigious Screen Industry Awards.
No, I'm not going to be asking the dog questions. It's just he's the first big star to arrive on the red carpet here.
The film was nominated at the first Actors, and they brought Tim Minchin to do Red Dog.
They cast a dog in the leading role against some yank with a troubled soul, and in the moment mutual love is found, they kill the bloke, then kill the hound. And even though we think we're tough and we saw it coming from a mile off, they have us sobbing like suckers, those manipulative filmmakers. Red Dog, he was a dog and he was red. He was a live dog, but by the credits he was dead.
He's pretty method, which is impressive. I would have sworn I was watching a dog.
I told him everything he knows.
What actor would I compare him to?
Gregory Peck.
Oh, Colin Farrell Schwarzenegger, okay? Why not?
And the Samsung Actor Award for Best Film goes to Red Dog. Nelson Moss and Julie Ryan.
Red Dog was nominated for a total of 7 actor awards this year.
For it to do what it actually did blew our minds. You'd be at a restaurant and suddenly you'd hear at the table next to you, they've got to see this new film. It's called Red Dog. There's this amazing dog in it. More and more people were seeing him on screen and falling in love with him. It blew up. Coco got invited everywhere. London, Berlin, Dallas.
I heard dog and my ears went up.
Red Dog is top dog at this year's Heartland Film Fest.
If you're an animal lover, first of all, you're gonna love this movie. You're gonna love your dog even more.
The dog's expression was tremendous.
And the golden collar goes to Coco in The Red Dog.
He was it. Coco got so popular, he was offered roles in other movies.
There's always one, whether it's a pig or there's always one with that extra bit of personality. George Miller called me to ask me about Coco because he wanted to put him in Fury Road. You know, I said, yeah, he's great. And he was in that opening scene, you know, with Tom Hardy. And, but they ended up replacing him with that two-headed lizard thing.
Everything just became huge. And we kind of knew that the reason it did was Coco. The next step was to take Coco and the film overseas. And we had been asked to do a gag on stage. And we wanted to say thank you to the people that had seen the film. There were a couple of presenters introduced the film.
So the event Cinema's IF Award for Box Office Achievement goes to Red Dog.
And then I was to go out and accept the award and start thanking people. But really, we all knew that people didn't want to listen to me. And the gag was that I should shut up and that Coco would run out. And he did it. He nailed it. He came straight out. But I could see something was wrong. I would never have to hold Coco on the lead or hold him by his collar because he was so good. He knew what he had to do. He would just do it by my side. I'd never have to hold him. But I could see the moment he came out on stage, he wasn't comfortable. I grabbed him by the collar, and then we walked off stage. And it was just because I was used to not holding him. I let him go, and he just ran. He ran straight into the audience. And I was so scared because I'd never seen him do that before. I knew something was wrong. I knew something was very wrong. He wasn't enjoying it. And as soon as I saw that, I wasn't going to let him do it anymore.
So this is a lateral x-ray, so it's showing Coco's heart from the side. And his heart's quite enlarged. It's causing the trachea to be displaced up towards his backbone here, and the size of the heart is actually quite enlarged, both that way and that dimension as well. The main symptoms you normally see early are there's often a change in behaviour, so the dog will become exercise intolerant. You know, they're not going to be so keen to go for a walk, they're not going to make the same distance they used to, they tire out a lot quicker.
I liken it to any sort of pump, whether it's a fuel pump, whatever. If the valves aren't working properly, the pump isn't working properly.
Sometimes as it progresses you'll notice a change in breathing behaviour, so they'll start panting, they'll have shallow breathing, be laboured breathing.
The best we could do was put him on some medication that would make him comfortable and let him continue enjoying being a dog. We made sure that his condition was really closely monitored, and the feeling was as long as he was happy and enjoying being a dog and enjoying his life, we would do everything that we could to make sure it could be continued.
It's all right, mate.
Initially, when we started treating Coco, Nelson informed us that his energy levels had picked up. He was a lot more active again. The coughing had resolved, at least initially, so he did see a marked improvement. And now Coco's almost back to normal. He's enjoying a good quality of life. He's enjoying going for a walk in the park, and yeah, for the moment, he's stabilised well.
Earlier this week, Coco, who's retired from his film career, made a cameo appearance at the RSPCA's Malaga headquarters. He was on hand to present it.
I wanted to learn everything I could possibly learn about what was wrong with him in the hope that we could help him. And we did have great success with some of the medication, and I wanted to let people know, and I didn't want people to go through what we were going through. He was my best friend. He was very, very close to my daughter.
Just remember that he's a little old, so just be gentle with him, okay?
He got along pretty well with her. He was back to his normal self for a while, and then he started to decline again.
Eventually, if the valves are just not functional enough, nothing's going to fix the case.
It's catching up with him. We're just taking it day by day right now.
Coco and I lived in a pretty unique spot. Coco woke up that day and very quickly, I think he knew and I knew that his condition had deteriorated a lot. I think he had just had enough. You could tell he expressed it, he emoted it. Coco was outside in the garden. I remember he loved that garden, and he did a walk around. He did one lap of it. I called the vet, Jerome, and I said, "You better come around, he's not looking good." And Jerome came around and he said that it's probably got to the point where he's no longer comfortable. And he looked at us and you could just tell he said, "I'm ready." And Jerome was ready, and Coco was gone.
This is going to break me up. I'll never forget the phone call I got from Nelson. And that was just before Christmas. And my phone rang, my mobile, and I answered it. And he said, "Oh, it's Nelson here." And I said, "Gee, you don't sound very good." I didn't know what to say to him because I felt as though I'd been stabbed with something. To lose a dog is heartrending. It tears a part of you away. It's like losing a limb. You spend your time afterwards putting an extra bowl on the table that is no longer going to be emptied. And it's like losing a part of you.
The canine star of the hit film Red Dog has died. Coco became Australia's best-known dog after the film's release last year. The 7-year-old red Kelpie died of heart disease in Perth.
The Kelpie, who starred in the hit movie Red Dog, has died. 7-year-old Coco, the dog's real name, died this morning from heart disease. Red Dog told the story of a red-cloud Kelpie who roamed the Pilbara outback.
It was the shelter's idea. They wanted to celebrate his life.
The sort of 2 or 3 days after Coco passed away and we started getting donations in, it was just astronomical. The phones ran off the hooks. There was just donations coming in, just an outpouring of grief as if people had actually lost their own dog.
Coco brought all the communities basically around Australia together, and all the communities in Australia liked Coco.
Coco's legacy definitely lives on here at Shenton Park. More than anything, he's helping to save dogs in need.
I think it was something that when the shelter decided to build a statue, they wanted to celebrate.
It was just probably one of the most moving moments that I've had with the dogs.
I only owned Coco in the last years of his life. Coco was bred by Len and Carol Hobday in Dunolly, Victoria. And Carol gave me perhaps the greatest gift that anyone could give, which was she allowed me to keep Coco after filming.
He was a different dog. It didn't matter who you were or what your background was. He'd walk straight up to you and he was interested to get to know you. If you were open to getting to know him, he would immediately connect with you. When you think about that, that's pretty special. A lot of times you're not open to connecting with people, whereas Coco did that unconditionally and had a way of breaking through people's barriers.
I remember sitting in front of the monitor. Nelson had gone to get a coffee or something and Coco was there, and my hand was just sort of like this at the chair, and I just felt something, and he was wanting a pat. And I felt really, it's so sweet. You could always tell I had a vibe. I think there was always there was a bit of a tension there, but it was just a really nice, lovely moment. I just gave him a good little scratch around the ears. Yeah, and then I had to put cream on my hand for the next 2 weeks.
They accept you completely, I think is what it is. You know, human beings, we always have these strong, complex interpersonal relationships. There's a lot of judgment involved. And dogs, I feel like, not only don't judge you, but they totally accept you for who you are, the same way you gotta accept a dog for who he is.
When the movie was out, I went to one of the theatres in Melbourne for the premiere. And Nelson was there and Coco was there.
And the audience loved it, and he was on, and he was loving it. But all of a sudden you could see him, he was like, he could smell something.
And when he saw me, oh, go away. When he saw me, he just went spare. He really did. And as I cuddled him, he started to chew my necklace. And I couldn't believe it. I thought, okay, this is still Coco. He might be a star, but it was still Coco. I think it's a psychological need to be loved. And a dog will give you that. Doesn't matter what you are, what you look like, your dog will love you. Unconditionally.
In life, sometimes you have unique and special relationships. They can be with your family, or your friends, or your dog. And you should enjoy them. You should make the most of them and be there in the moment, no matter what else is going on in your life or what you think's important or whatever's stressing you out, because those relationships and those moments don't last forever. Coco was always in the moment, And when you were with Coco, you were in the moment with him. And I cherish that, love that. I think everyone's dog or everyone's special companion can make you feel that way.
1, 2, 3.
Every now and then, a 1 in a million dog comes along. Well, 1 in 560 million, if we're being completely honest. Coco's tale can finally take its place amongst the pantheon of legendary dogs that came before him, and the many, many more still to come. But the truth is, as you know if you're lucky enough to have a dog, stories like Coco's, as incredible as they are, aren't unique. Everyone's dog is special. No matter who we are, these wandering souls bring us all together, fill us with their love, and change our lives for the better. Even when we dress them up in ridiculous costumes.
Whoa, good boy.
Go.
that a wrap? I watch too much TV.